Don't call me.
She looked me straight in the eyes, smiled, and said, "I'll be unavailable for a week. Don't call me." I thought it was normal until she vanished. No messages, no calls, nothing. And then I found the first clue that made my blood run cold. I never thought a simple sentence could change everything. She looked at me one evening and said, "I will be unavailable for a week. Do not call me." At first, I thought it was normal. She liked her space sometimes, and I trusted her. We had a good life. We laughed, cooked together, and shared little daily routines that felt safe and familiar. But then, I noticed small things that made me uneasy. She spent more time on her phone than usual, scrolling quietly in another room. She smiled at messages and quickly hid the screen whenever I came near. Sometimes she would go out for errands, but come back later than expected. Nothing seemed serious, but something in her eyes told me she was distracted. I tried to ignore it, telling myself I was overthinking. Maybe everyone needed their own time once in a while, but a small voice inside me whispered that something was off. That week she mentioned was supposed to be just days away. Yet I could not shake the feeling that everything was about to change, and I had no idea how far this simple sentence would reach. The first day passed slowly. I kept myself busy, telling myself it was just one day, and she had asked for space. But as evening came, I realized I had not heard from her at all. No text, no message, nothing. I tried calling once, then twice. Her phone went straight to voicemail. My chest tightened with worry, but I kept telling myself she would explain everything when she returned. By the second day, panic began to creep in. Friends and family started asking questions when I told them she was gone. They tried to reassure me, saying she probably needed time alone. But deep down, I felt a chill I could not ignore. Her keys were still on the counter, and her favorite coffee cup sat untouched in the sink. It was as if she had left in a hurry, yet she had told me not to call. I walked through the house, checking every room, hoping I would find some clue. Her absence felt heavy, almost alive. Every small sound made me jump. I kept thinking I might see her walk through the door, smiling as if nothing had happened. But the silence only grew louder, and my fear began to take hold. By the third day, I could no longer wait. I had to find her, or at least figure out what was happening. I started retracing her steps, hoping to see a clue she had left behind. I went to the cafe she often visited. The barista shook her head when I asked, "Have you seen her this week?" No one had. It was like she had disappeared from the world. I checked her favorite park, the grocery store, even the library where she sometimes spent hours reading. Nothing. Everywhere I went, her absence was a cold echo. I returned home exhausted and frustrated. That's when I noticed her purse was slightly open, the zipper pulled down more than usual. Inside, I found a receipt from a shop I did not recognize and a folded note with just a name I didn't know. My stomach twisted. Her phone was still dead. I charged it and scrolled through her recent messages. One caught my eye, a short, cryptic text from someone called M. The message said, "Everything is set. Tonight." I had no idea who this person was or what it meant. I started to feel that maybe she had kept secrets from me all along. Could she have been planning something without telling me? Or worse, was someone else involved? My mind raced with possibilities, none of them comforting. Even small things around the house felt strange. A scarf I did not recognize lay on her chair. Her shoes were lined up neatly, but one pair was missing. Every clue, every tiny detail, pulled me deeper into confusion and fear. It was like the house itself was holding its breath, waiting for me to discover the truth. By the fourth day, my mind was a storm I could not calm. Every thought bounced between hope and fear. I kept telling myself she might have a good reason for leaving, but a gnawing doubt would not let me rest. What if she was hiding something from me? What if I had missed signs along the way? I replayed every moment from the past weeks. The late nights, the secretive smiles at her phone, the little excuses for leaving the house. Were they innocent, or had I been blind all along? The thought made my chest tighten. I felt betrayed, yet I could not shake the love I had for her. Friends offered comfort, but their words only reminded me of how little I really knew. I wanted to scream, to shake her, to demand answers, but she was not there. The house felt colder, emptier, as if her presence had been erased. I began to question everything our life together, our conversations, the trust one had taken for granted. Fear clung to me like a shadow, and the betrayal, whether real or imagined, burned in my chest. I could not sleep, could not eat. All I could do was wait, and hope that the next clue, the next sign, would bring her back to me. On the 5th day, I decided I could not wait any longer. I went through her room again, hoping for something I had missed. That's when I noticed the drawer under her desk was slightly open. Inside was a small notebook I had never seen before. My hand shook as I opened it. The pages were filled with dates, names, and places things she had never mentioned to me. At first, I did not understand. Then I saw it. A list of people she had met in secret, along with notes about meetings, conversations, and warnings. My heart pounded. Why had she been keeping all this from me? A folded piece of paper slipped out of the notebook. It was a message addressed to me. If anything happens to me, trust no one. I am doing this to protect us both. I read it over and over, my mind racing. Protect us? From what? The sense of betrayal I felt earlier twisted into fear and confusion. I grabbed her phone again, hoping for answers. There was one message from that mysterious M I had seen before. She is ready. Proceed tonight. My blood ran cold. It was clear she had been involved in something dangerous, something I had no idea about. She hadn't disappeared to hurt me. She had vanished to keep us safe, to hide from something or someone that I could not see yet. For the first time since she left, I realized I had been wrong to assume the worst. The fear, the anger, the betrayal, it all shifted into a desperate need to find her and make sure she was safe. But now, I understood that whatever she was facing, it was far bigger than I could handle alone. By the 6th day, I knew I had to act. The notebook, the messages, the mysterious clues, they all pointed to a small cabin on the outskirts of town. I drove there, my hands tight on the steering wheel, heart hammering with fear and hope. The cabin was dark and quiet. I called her name, my voice trembling. At first, there was no answer. Then a shadow moved inside. I rushed forward, and there she was, standing by the window, eyes wide but determined. I had to disappear, she said, her voice low. There were people following me. They wanted something I found out. I couldn't risk you getting hurt. I stared at her, disbelief and relief crashing over me. All the anger, all the fear, melted into understanding. She had not betrayed me. She had protected me without a word, carrying the weight of danger alone. Tears filled my eyes as I took her hands. Why didn't you tell me? I asked. I couldn't, she whispered. Not yet. I had to be sure it was safe. In that moment, I realized how little I really knew about her courage, about the life she had led in secret. The danger had not ended, but at least we faced it together. The week she had disappeared left a mark on both of us. Once we returned home, the quiet of our house felt different. It was no longer just a space we lived in. It was a reminder of fear, secrecy, and trust tested. I looked at her, and for the first time, I saw all the strength she had carried alone. She told me more about what had happened. There were people who wanted to use the information she had discovered for their own gain. She had stayed silent, vanished from my life for a week, to make sure I was safe. Listening to her, I felt a mix of awe, relief, and guilt. I had doubted her, questioned her loyalty, and feared the worst. Now I understood that love sometimes required courage beyond what I could imagine. In the days that followed, we rebuilt the life we thought we knew. Small things became meaningful again, cooking together, walking the park, laughing over shared memories. But there was also a new awareness. Trust could not be taken for granted. Communication mattered more than ever. Yet some truths, she reminded me, were dangerous until the right time. Even now, I think about that week. I remember the fear, the emptiness, the panic, but I also remember the lessons it left behind. Love is not just about comfort. It is about standing together through uncertainty, protecting each other even when the world seems against you. And sometimes, the hardest moments reveal the deepest strength. I no longer see her disappearance as betrayal. I see it as courage. And in that courage, I found a love stronger than fear, stronger than doubt, and stronger than anything I had ever known.